hello, 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 hello. When I say hello, welcome to. Oh Lord, I'm coming in hot. Why am I so loud? There we go. Welcome to a Friday edition of The Line right here on Talk 99.5, talk995.com as I try to figure out my mic situation here. Doesn't want to cooperate. All right, there we go. I think I got it. I think I got it. Hope everybody's having a good day. Hope everybody's ready for the weekend. We are getting closer and closer to Christmas, which is, for some it's a stressful time of the year. It is.
Are
And
you one of those?
I am. I actually am one of those. And it's not near as bad as it used to be. Like back in the day when I was especially during that time that I was single, it was stressful because I had to figure out what to buy multiple people. Well, now I have an assistant that I call my wife, and she handles all of that. Of course, she comes to me and she says, "You need to help me with this. You need to help me figure out what we're going to get people." And I'm like, "Ah, I don't know." And then I'll just do that number until she comes up with an idea. And I'm like, "Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say. That's a perfect idea." And so we just,
That right there is one heck of a partnership.
yeah. So we go through that process and we start getting gift ideas. And so, but then she asked me, I'm like, I don't know what I want. I'm like, "What do you want?" She's like, "I don't know what I want." So, but then it comes down to, she's like, "Well, I'd like you to just kind of get me something that you think I would like." And that's where the trap is.
Yeah.
You don't really know. I mean, you think you might know, but you really don't know. And so, I thought last year a Costco membership was a good idea, and it was possibly the worst Christmas gift in history. You know, like
Well, you tried.
that was a stupid gift. That was stupid. Uh, but I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Couple things. First off, I just got confirmation, and I think this was just kind of I don't know if we're doing this on a whim or what, but I got the green light to announce that we are broadcasting on YouTube.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, it's the first time I've said it. So if you are a part of our Real Talk 99.5 YouTube channel, you can actually watch the shows live. That's right. We got cameras in studio and everything else. So head on over to Real Talk 99.5 TV on YouTube, and you can actually watch us, which is crazy. And we had been doing this for a while. Well, I say a while. We've been doing it for a few days, but we didn't really tell anybody because we had to work out the kinks, I mean, it's brand new equipment, it's a brand new process, everybody's having to kind of learn, what to do and how to act. And radio people that have been in the business for a long time, they don't want to be on camera. I'm going to tell you right now. They just, you spend 20, 30 years doing radio where nobody can see you, and it's like,
There's a reason we got into this business.
right. And now people can look at you, and it's kind of like, ugh. But, I've kind of got some experience with it, I guess. So we do the Over the Line podcast and videos and everything else. So I'm already primed and ready. So that's there you go. If y'all haven't seen it yet, Real Talk 99.5 TV is what you search on YouTube, and you can watch the shows. You can watch this show. You can watch Dixon Inviting. You can watch Leland Live. Some of y'all have noticed that we've been posting reels and shorts on social media, like little clips of the show. That's what that's from. Just little highlights, but now you can watch it in its entirety. And an important thing to note is that each hour we have to cut the stream and restart it. So you're only getting to watch like an hour at a time, but at the end of the hour, you can cut it off, go back to the page, and pull it back up. So, what else? What else? Oh, I got a Newsmax appearance today.
Today. Okay.
At 2:40.
You're gonna be hustling.
Yeah, I gotta be back at the podcast studio by 2:40, and I think what I'll do is I'll just like soon as my music starts playing at 1:59, I'm gonna just go ahead and leave, and I'm gonna let that music ride out because I'm like
need all the extra head start you can get.
Yeah, I'm a stickler for like being on time, and so what they do in those TV appearances is they'll bring you on Zoom. And then 10 minutes before it's time for you to go on, some guy out of Florida is like, well, Roger McClain, stand by. And then you just sit there with a black screen for 10 minutes. And then the TV show comes on. And, during your segment, they bring you on. So I technically got to be there by like 2:30, which I'm, maybe I can do it. I thought about it. I'm like, why don't we just play like a best of for the last segment or something? I don't know. Look, there we go. We got people piling into the to the YouTube channel there. Look at that. That's another thing, by the way, is if you're on the YouTube channel, you can chat with other listeners. You got your own little chat room there.
Oh, that's true too. Yeah.
So that makes it more fun. So y'all can do that. Remember, Real Talk 99.5 TV. Yeah, we on TV. With the Newsmax appearance. Hold on, let me see. She sent me the topic. See, they finally started sending me the topics in advance. They weren't doing that initially. They were waiting until the last second. And she said that the topics are where did she go? She says California Governor Gavin Newsom gained steam ahead of 2028, gaining donors while sharpening his attacks on Trump this week, calling him the most destructive president in his life. It also says the Brooks breakdown ahead of a potential 2028 run. Newsom's track record is coming into focus, revealing a pattern of bad behavior, hypocrisy, and corruption. We take a closer look at who is Gavin Newsom. That's the topic.
If you want the skeletons exposed in your particular life, yeah, run for federal office.
That was my thought too. It's like, if you've got baggage, like you don't want to run for office. And if you do have baggage and want to run for office, go ahead and start your campaign by saying, I did this, 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 and this.
Yeah, might as well go ahead and throw it out there before they can.
Yeah, that way they can use it against you. But so if y'all got suggestions on that's what I should do. I should get the audience to tell me what they want me to say on the TV on Newsmax today.
That ought to be interesting.
Yeah. So what do y'all want me to say about Gavin Newsom? Tell me on the text
something
line.
You can actually put on TV.
Yeah. Of course. I mean, like I thought about bringing up where he was like banging his secretary or whatever and cheated on his wife and all these other things. But I'm trying to think of some of the other scandals that he was involved with, because he's not a good person.
Oh, I mean, just think about the Pacific Palisades fire from earlier on this year.
Yeah, that's right. Had to save the smelt, so the big chunk of California burnt to the ground.
How much money did he put into the that bullet train system that's never going to come to fruition?
That's right. All the money wasted on the train system. There's a lot coming from Gavin Newsom. And also, want to put this out there for anybody listening that may be able to help us with this. So, my dear friend Amy, Amy from Vapor Forge, Tony and Amy, she and a friend of hers, they do a thing every year during Christmas where they gather items for homeless people and for Christmas. So, what they have is they have toiletries, hats, gloves, as well as first aid kits, hygiene products. They all put that in backpacks and they distribute it to the homeless. In the past, they've provided a meal as well, just like a sandwich and chips or something just for them to have something in their belly. But they have no one this year that they've teamed up with that can provide that. So what we want to know is if there's anybody out there with a restaurant or anything that where you make sandwiches and got a bag of chips, if there's anybody out there that would want to contribute to this, getting some Christmas stuff to the homeless, making sure they got something to eat for the time being, that can contribute. All we need is 25. So like 25 sandwiches and like 25 bags of chips. Can be whatever size bag of chips. If there's anybody out there that wants to contribute to that, get in touch with me, the text line, message me, whatever, and then I will get you in touch with Amy, and y'all can square something up. So I want to make sure I could see if we could get that handled, because that's a good thing that they do every year. All right, hey now, roll call. Let's go. What do we got today? Going back. Our early birds consist of Roger, Jeremy with the J's. We got Kevin, and we got Leslie. Those are our early birds, which means number one, today's Hey Now roll call is none other than... Oh, I lost it. Oh, there he is. Craig! Hey now! Hey now! Good job, buddy. So Craig sent us a cover song that we'll play at 10:30. You got Mark J, Taylor, Maggie, Tommy, Odin, Jeff with the J's from Alabaster. You got Brian. You got Hell Yeah Ricky. Grumpy Old Goat, Dwayne, Hippie with the J's. Heath, Ron in Oklahoma City. James and Trent, Sydney with the J's. And a Fun King Friday. Charles, Neil, Boomer, Bree, Joe, Steve at Work Trucks, Dale, Dexter, Shane, Morgan, Tom, Bubba Rumble, everybody. Hello. So thank y'all for hanging out with us, and thank you for those of you that are on the old YouTube channel. There's a bunch on there already. And I think that's exciting that everybody gets to kind of chat with each other during the show. Like, y'all get to hang out. It's kind of the same thing with the Over the Line deal. What we do is we kind of view it, especially on our weekend shows, as kind of a hangout deal. So all the people that enjoy the podcast or whatever, they hang out and they chat back and forth in the YouTube chat. And it's like one big happy family. It's a Hey Now Nation, just hanging out on a Friday. That's what that is. All right, 205-545-9950. Lots of the line on Talk 99.5 coming up. tell you this right now, with our new YouTube visuals here on Talk 99.5, Boomer is having a blast. Boomer's eating this up. He's loving it. And I thought about that too. I was like, as soon as we announce this, Boomer's gonna be all over it. He's gonna be the Hey Now Nation cult leader.
He does
YouTube.
He does like to get on there, like the Saturday morning show that I do, the Motorsport Show. He'll show up every once in a while over there too, and show up in the chat. It's a lot of fun.
He's dedicated, man. He is absolutely. I had to end up making him one of the moderators in our and on the Over the Line podcast. He's one of our chat moderators, just because I know he's always going to be there. So. It's almost like he's getting paid for it or something. I got Ann on the line. Ann, how are you? Hey, Ann.
Hello.
Hey.
Oh, it's Patricia.
Hey, this is Andrew. What's up?
I was just gonna volunteer to do 25 sandwiches.
Okay, cool. Let me.
I'm not a restaurant, but I'm just me.
I got you. Well, let me do this. Let me put you on hold and let Steve get your phone number. And what I will do is I'll pass your phone number to Amy and link you guys up and see what we can get going. Is that cool?
Okay. Yeah.
Oh, perfect. Ann, thank you so much.
Sure.
All right. Let me put Ann on hold, and Steve, just give me her phone number there, and we'll see if we can square that up. See, I knew we could get the Hey Down Nation together and hook this right on up. So, anything, and I don't know what other donations they need. This is something that's just 2 or 3 people doing this, so it's not like a it's not like a tax write-off thing or whatever. They're just out here helping homeless people. So it's just a good deed. Just a good deed. Looking through what y'all think I should talk about on Newsmax today, Morgan says, bring up the failure of reconstruction of properties destroyed by the fire. That's a good one. Tom says, tell Gavin his crime-infested cities are going to ruin your life. I think Tom thinks I'm talking to Gavin Newsom today. Which who knows, that may be. Last time I went on there, they teamed me up with some guy. And we didn't have to debate, but we were like going back and forth. Bubba Rumble says, talk about how Gavin Newsom sits like a girl. Yeah, I think I'll do that. Did you all see the things that he's been putting on Twitter? Like the way he sits, obviously, I think in some Twitter account from the White House was making fun of the way he was sitting, and he ends up, let me see if I can find his actual Twitter. He ends up taking the memes that they made and using it on his own account as some sort of shot at self-deprecation that he thought was funny, but it just made him look worse. It's really strange. Hold on, let's see if I can find it.
I mean, self-deprecating humor can work, but probably not in this case.
Yeah, he posted this. For those of y'all watching, look at this. Look at this right here. He posted this picture of himself. I mean,
that's not a good look.
Why would you post that? This is obviously AI generated, but at the same time, he was sitting pretty funny at that Q&A. Why would you post that? That's extremely, extremely awkward.
Well, but how many things could we actually question Gavin on as far as what he's done? Probably more than half of his activities as governor.
Yeah, and here's what I think he's trying to do. My mic keeps falling down. I think he's trying to act like Donald Trump. He's trying to follow in Donald Trump's footsteps because he says to himself, the trolling and everything else that they do online is effective. And so, and this may not even be him. This is probably people around him that are like pretending to be super smart and they're, analysts or whatever. And they're like, Donald Trump's really good at social media. We should start doing what he's doing. And they start doing it, and then they just look dumb. Like, first of all, you're way late to the game. Second of all, it's obvious that you're just trying to copy the guy that you claim is Hitler. So it's not going to work. Because the Democrats, what have the Democrats done so far? What up to this point, if you go back to 2016, what was it that they were saying was the difference between them and Donald Trump? They were the sane ones. They were the civil ones. They were the kind people. They were the ones that were sane and not running around making fun of people and coming up with nicknames for everybody. That they were the level-headed, normal people. Kind and gentle. And now all of a sudden, they're going to start collecting those characteristics that Donald Trump has had all along. It ain't going to work, Cozy. All right. By the way, that's not Craig's song.
No, I had it in my head. I'd played your song, Craig, and I apologize. I didn't.
Just a little mishap. But that just means Craig gets a song at 10:50. So just hold your horses there, Craig. Hold your horses, buddy. All right, so here we go. A lot of exciting stuff going on. As I noted, you can now watch 99.5 on YouTube. So we're still going to be working out some kinks. I mean, we haven't really gotten it fully figured out yet, and we didn't even necessarily plan on announcing it today. But Val's like, just go ahead.
Sure, why not?
But we'll be
We've
kind
been
of
doing that quiet rollout all week long.
Yeah, it has. I've noticed. I would go look at it over the past few days, and there'd be like 2 or 3 people in there. And I'm like, I wonder who those 2 or 3 people are that found out. But yeah, this is just kind of, we'll be cleaning some stuff up as we go along. This is the age of radio now, man. I mean, with podcasts and everything else, we're not only a radio station, but we're doing like a lot of others. Matt Murphy and WTN. They've been doing it for a little while as well, and it's just the name of the game, baby. It's 2025, almost 2026, and this is how people consume their content. Damian Mitchell's supposed to be coming in at he said sometime around 11. I don't really, as a radio guy, you don't like your guest to be like, I'll do sometime around, you don't like, just tell me when. But no, I think he'll be in here for the first segment of 11 o'clock. So we'll talk about some stuff. I hadn't had him in like 2 weeks, so we got to talk about the playoffs. I think I'm really excited to talk about Sherrone Moore. How do you say his name? Is it Sherrone?
Sherrone. I thought it was Sherrone. I don't know. I might be wrong.
Sherrone Moore. That's I saw another thing today as well that said something about Wednesday, like when all this kind of started going down, that the girl, the affair lady, ended up going when she got fired, she went to the head offices of the athletic department or the University of Michigan and brought all of the receipts as to their affair.
Scorched earth policy.
And so that probably contributed to him going to her house and saying he was going to off himself, but also, off her as well, because he was very angry. But fortunately, he didn't do that, and he got caught, and I think he's still in jail. I think he's got a bond hearing today, and who knows if they even let him out. I mean, once you've,
I don't know, attempted murder? Might not let you out on that.
Yeah, you threaten to unalive somebody, and it's like, don't know if we should let you out, buddy. So we'll talk to Damian about that. Couple things happening yesterday. This is kind of happening towards the end of the show, so we didn't get to cover it. Al Green. Everybody knows Al Green. He's the guy that walks around with the cane. Kind of looks like a retired pimp almost. He's like, we're going to impeach Donald Trump. He did that all during the first term. And so as soon as Donald Trump got reelected, it's back to impeachment. We're going to impeach Donald Trump. And yesterday, he brought the resolution, the articles of impeachment, to the floor. And the House had to vote on it. And the House overwhelmingly rejected Al Green's impeachment effort. They didn't vote to not impeach him, but they voted to table the articles of impeachment, which is like, we're not going to fool with this. And then what'll happen is somebody else will come up and they're like, well, I'm going to file articles of impeachment. Remember I said yesterday was impeachment day? So it all ties together. You had the one lady, what was her name? Something Stevens out of Michigan, who was drafting articles of impeachment for RFK Jr. You had Sri Thanada, who was doing articles of impeachment for Pete Hegseth, and then Al Green trying to impeach Donald Trump. But here's how the numbers broke down. You had 23 Democrats vote to, because this is where the final vote ended up. They were voting on whether or not to table the bill, which is not voting to impeach Donald Trump. It's voting to say whether or not we're going to move forward with this. Do you want to actually have a real vote on it, or do you want to table it? 23 Democrats, only 23, voted to table the bill, and 47 voted present. So you had, what's the math on that? 70 Democrats didn't vote yay in that situation. They just said, you know what, this is not going to work. I'm going to go ahead and not put my name on there as wanting to impeach. Well, not 70, 47 voted present, but they knew it. I mean, it was all for show. They knew that there was nothing going to happen with this. It was not going to make it past the House, and it certainly wouldn't make it past the Senate. So they're just, what they're doing is they're setting the table for when something does happen. Well, this, and of course, this is in their mind. When something bad does happen or some scandal breaks out, that they've already set the tone to say, well, we've already got it. We already been through the process. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's impeach Donald Trump. And not just waiting on a scandal, but maybe even waiting on the midterms. Because as I've stated time and time again, if Democrats end up winning, and some people think they're on track to win the midterms, if they end up winning the House and the Senate by a good majority, Donald Trump's as good as gone. If the House is run by the Democrats, they're all going to be on board. There's not going to be any of them that are like, oh, I don't want to impeach the president. And they don't even need a reason. They'll just make something up, draft articles of impeachment, and send it on. Send it on to the Senate, and God forbid that Democrats ever have 60 Senate seats. Move it over there. They vote. They'd be able to get anything they want done at that point. But they vote. Senate convicts Donald Trump of whatever crimes that he's allegedly committed, and then he's gone. And then their problem is gone forever because this is Donald Trump's last hurrah. He's not doing it again. This is it for Donald Trump, which is amazing to think that these individuals, Al Green or whoever for that matter, that they can't just be like, listen, it's 3 more years. Let's get to it. Let's fight to win the next election, and then we can get back to destroying the country. They can't do that. They've got to get rid of him now, and for good reason. With them, it's a very good reason because he's doing some irreversible stuff, and he's also reversing a lot of the damage that they did. What Trump wants to do and what he should do is to put things in place to where it's maybe not impossible, but incredibly difficult for the next Democrat president or Democrat Congress to reverse. That's a tall task. It's not easy to do because they can reverse almost anything. And Donald Trump has proven that as just wiping out all of Joe Biden's executive orders based on the auto pen. But he wants to Democrat-proof the country. And in order to do that, you really need more than 4 years, but he's on year number 5 now. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get the job done, and he's doing it at breakneck speed. This is what the goal is. Between that and secure elections, Democrat-proof the country and make sure the next elections in 2028 or next year for that matter, make sure they are secure. The way to do that is to continue to blow this fraud out of the water. One after another. You've got to make it clear, and you've got to start prosecuting people. One thing we talked about earlier in the week and in last week, Act Blue. The FBI is investigating Act Blue. You need to speed that investigation up as quick as possible. That is the lifeblood for these Democrat candidates in the midterms. They're embezzling money They're laundering money to Democrat candidates all across the country, and that money is getting them elected. You got to put a stop to that, and you got to do it now. Secure the elections and Democrat-proof the country. That right there, ladies and gentlemen, is a plan for success. Bam down, bam down, 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 down. Also, yesterday, the Senate rejected the dueling health care plans as Obamacare is imploding. That's happening at the end of the year. Obamacare subsidies are going to go bye-bye. Here's the thing. The people that should be worried about the Obamacare deals, the insurance companies. the insurance companies as well, because they're the ones making a fortune off this, and they've got quite a bit of power. Apparently, they were able to get with the president of the United States and take over 1/3 of the country's economy by cornering the market on healthcare and making sure the government was funneling billions and billions and billions of dollars into these insurance companies, for many of which for people that didn't even go to the doctor or the hospital. Millions. 12 million people on Obamacare never filed a claim, never went to the doctor, never filed an insurance claim because they didn't even know they had insurance. 12 million people. But yet, the government still sent billions of dollars to the insurance companies of your taxpayer dollars for those individuals, whether they were going to the hospital or not, all the while causing your prices to skyrocket. So here's what happened. Yesterday, you had two different health care plans. First, the Senate failed to advance a Republican health care plan in a 51-48 vote. Rand Paul voted with the Democrats. Bill Cassidy and Mike Crapo. Is it Crapo? Is his name Mike Crapo from Indiana? Or is he from Idaho? He's from Idaho. Mike Crapo, maybe that's his name, Crapo, introduced a bill that would allow Obamacare tax subsidies to expire and expand health savings accounts. Legislation obviously needs 60 votes to advance. A separate Schumer-backed health care bill also failed to pass the Senate yesterday. Obamacare's enhanced premium tax credit will expire at the end of this year. Hill report, blah, blah, blah. I don't need to read all that. A bunch of political grandstanding, this, that, and the other. But here's what you need to understand. So Obamacare subsidies continue on. If that's what they do, it's just business as usual. Insurance company makes billions. Hospitals make billions of dollars. And we continue to get screwed and pay insane healthcare premiums. But the other plan, the Republican plan, which is approved by Donald Trump, which was drafted by Senate Health, Education, and Labor Pension Committee Chair Bill Cassidy and Senate's Finance Committee Chair Mike Crapo, follows Donald Trump's plan to redirect federal subsidies that have gone to insurance companies to instead go directly to the people. So what that means is that billions and billions of dollars that's being funneled into the insurance companies of tax dollars, don't forget tax dollars, would instead go to the people to pay for their health care. The plan would convert the value of funding for enhanced premium tax credits under the ACA into federal contributions to health savings accounts called the HSAs to defray out-of-pocket health care costs, according to the analysis by a health policy research group. Now, I haven't seen the actual plan, but I understand the basics of it, and I think it's a fantastic idea. Instead of sending the money to insurance companies, send it back to the people and say, this is what you got. This is the money that you got to spend on emergency room visits, on doctor visits, and everything else. And let it be. Let it be. You can't go wrong sending the people their money back, the money that they paid in. And so hopefully that gets passed. It, doesn't really look like that's going to happen. We may end up with a disaster of epic proportions on healthcare, at least for a few weeks. But I would say, even if they don't figure out something by the end of the year, I think they probably will. But if they don't, you'll have something figured out by January. But something does have to be figured out because there's a lot of people that have to have, they've got life-saving treatments and medicines and everything else. But next year is going to be good. Yeah, next year is going to be smooth sailing. And I say this over and over, and people don't, understandably don't really care. They care about what's going on right now, but just hang on. Hang on, baby. We're gonna get there. Also, Donald Trump yesterday tweeting out that he's granting Tina Peters a pardon And I saw this last night. Tina Peters is someone that we've talked a lot about. She is one of the Colorado election officials that was during the 2020 election caught the steal, caught the voter fraud in the days after the election. And in order to provide that information to the appropriate authorities, she preserved her records, as she was supposed to do. But then you had the Secretary of State in Colorado and others come after her and say she was breaking the law and she's trying to, whatever. And they end up convicting her of crimes and putting her in prison for 9 years. 9 years. This is Tina Peters. I think she's 70-something years old. At the time, her husband had just died. Her son, who was a Gold Star recipient, veteran, had just died. And she was going through a really hard time. And the judge in this case, who was an absolute scumbag, had no compassion for her whatsoever. I think I've played this before, but I want you to hear it again. The day that Tina Peters got convicted, this is what the judge said to her.
Here, the defense has, and Ms. Peters in particular, has remained quite defiant, which is her right, but certainly not helpful for her lot today. And in arguing why I should impose a particular sentence, she tells me about her ailments, her loss, her struggles in life. But in reality, for those of you who may have been here earlier this morning and seen some of the folks who've occupied that chair before Ms. Peters, there could be not much in the way of a comparison in terms of the type of sympathy one would extend to Ms. Peters. Those folks didn't have 4 lawyers representing them. They didn't have a team of assistants helping them. They're not getting rides in private jets all over the country. No, the people who sit in that chair suffer, generally speaking, immeasurable trauma in life, struggle mightily with alcohol abuse, substance abuse, mental health struggles, family loss. They come from broken homes. The cards they were dealt were never the cards that you were dealt, Ms. Peters. So when I hear you discuss your husband, who sadly passed away recently, your family struggles, and your son, who served our country admirably and made the ultimate sacrifice, I consider it. And I note, too, that he honored his oath to the country, something that is not lost on me when considering the circumstances under which you find yourself here. Your age, limited criminal history, and the like are certainly somewhat mitigating. Your ties to the community are what they are, but your reputation at this point is poor because of what you've done here and after. Your lies are well documented, and these convictions are serious. I'm convinced you would do it all over again if you could. You're as defiant as a defendant as this court has ever seen. You don't have those histories of drug and alcohol abuse. There's no lifetime of trauma, not even close to the type of mitigating circumstances I would see from many folks who sit in that chair. No, to the contrary, Ms. Peters, you are a privileged person. You are as privileged as they come. And you use that privilege to obtain power, a following, and fame. And to be sure, there's no doubt in my mind that it's exactly what you wanted, and it defies all sense of common sense to believe when you suggested to me a few moments ago that you didn't want this attention. No, you crave it, ma'am. And there is no one in this courtroom who would consider that to be anything other than the absolute truth.
What a scumbag. What a scumbag that judge is. So Tina Peters, who's failing in health, been attacked by inmates 3 times, still sits in prison. Donald Trump puts this tweet out pardoning her for the election crimes, but she's in prison on state crimes, so that doesn't change anything, but it signals to Colorado we're coming to get her out.